So, good afternoon once again, and you are welcome to this first meeting on quantitative methods in linguistics. Um, as much as we can um, be able to accommodate, we are going to have uh, interactions and we are going to gauge one another. So it will be like the physical classrooms, which means I can still call you at any point in time to respond to questions. So you have to be at alert, not that you are cooking and also learning. So you have to be uh, fully involved. So again, try to join the class in real time. You know, after today's lectures, I don't expect anybody to come late again. So anytime you join the class, or let me say, to join the class, you simply go to the Google Classroom. I'm sharing my screen now. So I believe you can see my screen. So this is the Google Classroom page, and you can simply come here. This is the stream page. You simply come here and click join. So that will take you to the class, and then you'll be able to see your fellow classmate and the facilitator. On this page, that's where you see materials, including uh, past practical assignments and some recorded lectures and materials. Some, the materials and resources we used for your senior, the pioneering students. So when today's lecture comes to an end and the video also compiles, it will be available here for you to watch or review as the case might be. So on this page, you see other members of the class with me, or working with me in the class. We have uh, Abioye Olufemi, Oni Adeleke, Kafayat Alobaloke. Uh, Oni is here. Any, can you indicate? Are you, Honey, can you just say hi, allow them to know you? Okay. So that's Honey.
Hello,
Uh,
good evening, everyone.
Nobody seemed to be responding to her.
Good evening, ma.
Okay, so Honey will facilitate with me. Is Femi around? Not sure. What about Kafayat? Uh, So if they are not here, hopefully subsequent lectures they will join us. I know that Joseph is here. I don't know how he puts himself as a student. So Joseph, if you are here, you can also show your camera for the class to see and say hello.
Good evening, everyone. It's a
Yes, sir.
pleasure to be here.
You are welcome. So with that, we are good to go to what we have for today. To start by looking at the material. So I'm going to Heritage already announced that the material for the course is ready. So for those who would like to uh, pick a copy as quantitative methods in linguistics, uh, I believe the material will help you and strongly recommended uh, as part of the resources you will need. There are other resources, very many online resources for you to use. Sorry, just a minute. Sorry for that. Got the call. So there are resources, very many resources online that you can leverage on for this course. Uh, and this particular lecture manual uh, benefited a lot from those resources. Uh, so this is a compendium, a manual put together, using existing resources and current literature uh, on the subject matter. So uh, you find it, as a practical guide to empirical language research. And you see some of the key features of the material include the statistical methods that are used in linguistic research. You will also learn about uh, the tool for doing linguistic research, particularly when it comes to analyzing linguistic data. And one major uh, material for analyzing linguistic data is the R package. This R package is one that you will need. So uh, R package, we adopt R package because it's free and you don't really need a licensed, or it's not a licensed software, so it's open source. So you are not paying for using it. So in the manual also, we have a lot of linguistic data sets, though mostly simulated, but they still serve the purpose of learning. So so they make the learning practical, and with the combination of R and the data set, you have a good taste of the coding of the subject. In addition, you have review questions uh, that help you to review the chapters and the topics. You have multiple choice questions, and there are also guided exercises, lab exercises for you to do. Some of them, so you will be assisted by Honey, Femi, and other colleagues. So let's move on now to the first topic. Or before we go to that, so you for this course, we will start by introducing ourselves to what quantitative analysis is all about. Why do we even need to apply quantitative analysis in linguistics? Why is it so important? And also, how do we distinguish between quantitative and qualitative approaches? So these are issues we will possibly discuss today. And then that will lead us to the next topic on types of linguistic data. So we are going to look at linguistic data and the different forms with examples. And we will also justify why we need to understand the different types of linguistic data that we have. Why do we need to know these different types? So thereafter, we move to introduce you to the software that we will need for this course, that is the R package. So we will have an overview of that package and how to navigate the R Studio interface. So those are preliminary things. Before we now dive into issue of sampling methods in linguistics, how do you select sample, and what are these different sampling methods that we can employ? What do we mean by sampling bias? And when is our sample representative. So these are uh, concepts that we will need to master under the sampling method. And that will take us to the next level, which is to look at how we design linguistic experiments and surveys. Our data will most likely come from these two uh, areas, either from experiments or from surveys. Experiments are studies that will control the environment, and you can manipulate, the process. But surveys are not. You cannot manipulate the subjects. So, but both of them, whether experiment or surveys, you can uh, use them in linguistics, to study linguistic problem, or to research into linguistic related problems. So we will see how we design linguistics problems in experiments and surveys. How do we formulate research questions? How do we define variables in linguistic research? How do we choose instruments for data collection? And of course, how do we differentiate between um, experimental or observational studies? So that would take us to ethical considerations, hypothesis testing, um, comparing two groups. We have uh, so many uh, topics that we can cover, but maybe time will not permit. But the good thing is that even if we cannot cover all of them, you will still have the materials, uh, within your reach that you can always use. So we have about 18 chapters that we can cover. Some of them, like the last few ones, they are not necessarily topics for a purpose of examinations, but they are just to give you kind of uh, support, expose you to uh, important, or relatively advanced concepts. So that is the rundown. Let's now, before I continue, I would like to get sort of reactions from the class. I want people to speak, so otherwise I won't know how you are feeling. Yeah, does anybody have anything to say? Olasoji Adegboyega, so Any
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
yeah.
Well, actually, we were thinking it's the class for today will be for machine learning, not quantitative analysis in linguistics. But then it,
Okay.
it's actually a good one because I, as a person from the humanities and with background in humanities, afraid of, scared of numbers, statistics, and but there was a time I was joking around with you that how do people study statistics that I even find difficult to pronounce sometimes. But then it's good to have to be here in the first class and taking us through what we have to do in the class. And at this point, I'm personally developing interest in it and looking forward to see what I can make out of the class. Thank you, sir.
That's a good one. I deliberately prefer that we start with the quantitative methods. Of course, on Thursday, same time we are meeting for the machine learning. But machine learning is even uh, more advanced in terms of the the techniques when you compare uh, it with the quantitative method. So the quantitative method is like the foundation. So machine learning is another um, is right on top. So um, yeah, so you should just uh, I like your enthusiasm and the new perspective that you are now looking at it, and I hope
Thank you.
you will sustain that interest. There is nothing
Oh,
really,
definitely, sir.
yeah,
Thank you.
there's nothing really too difficult. Once you set your mind to grasp it. So it's like internet connectivity is affecting some, but not no problem. You can always watch the video. Any other comment before I move on? So, uh, the first question one would like to ask is what is quantitative analysis in linguistics? So, in linguistics, you talk about, I'm not an expert in linguistics, but it's about language. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
So I don't know how much of you do counting, but it's not that you do analysis. So you don't need to do mathematics. You don't need to compute anything. But uh, quantitative analysis um, allows you now to convert linguistics to numbers and then make it analyzable. So it's all about using statistics, using numbers to study language, to understand language better. Particularly, our goal is even to make them, as you will be discussing in machine learning. So we want machine also to learn our language, and machine will need to use uh, numbers. Machine will be coded machine will be there will be algorithms, for the machine to run. So linguistics, quantitative analysis in linguistics is nothing but using numbers and statistics to study. This is it. Using numbers and statistics to study language. So, and that helps us to even measure what we say. The language can now be measured because we are talking of numbers. And when something is measured, then you can compare them, uh, fairly. Uh, Let me ask, Kende, are you there? Kende, are you in the class?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me ask you one question. If I say I'm old, how can you compare that with your age? Maybe I should ask, is that question correct? If you have your lecturer and you are standing beside each other and say, this person is old, this person is young. Now, language will simply say this is old, this is young, this is short, this is tall, and so on like that. But it's not quantified. Am I correct?
Yes.
But if we are able to measure and say this person is 50 years old, this person is 25 years old, then we can be able to compare the two and say the age of this is twice the age of this. So statistics and use of numbers help us to measure, also help us to compare. Is that clear, Kendi?
Yes, sir.
So you can mute yourself.
Thank you,
So
sir.
it also helps us to see pattern easily. You can see, how people speak. Maybe they speak fast, maybe they speak slowly, whether they write fast, how many words do they speak per second? How many words do they write per second? So all of this help us to understand the language, and that's why we are talking about quantitative analysis in linguistics. Even though we can speak the same language, we may not speak the same number of words at the same time. We may not also write the same number of words the same time. So quantitative analysis will help us. So if you have people who are Yoruba, Ijebu will speak, Oyo will speak, Ibadan will speak, Elisha will speak, and so on like that. So instead of saying men talk faster than women, in a typical narration. No, quantitative study will actually measure the speech rate, and we say this one speaks this number of words per minute. Olasoji, are you following this discussion?
Yes, I'm with you, sir.
Okay. What I'm saying is it clear to you? Can you give another typical example?
Okay, sir. For instance, when two speakers who speak the same language, their level of competence is different because the lexicon they've acquired in that language is different.
Yeah.
Even when they have acquired the same set of lexicons, which is almost impossible, they cannot construct sentences or use it in different contexts the same way.
Yeah. So what's the role of measurement in that instance? How can measurement come in?
Right. So my understanding is that I really do not have a solid explanation on that.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Does anybody have any input on this discussion now? How numbers and statistics come into linguistics? No. Heritage, you joined finally.
Yes, I made it.
You, huh?
I said, yes, sir, I made it.
Okay. So I'm asking whether if people have input to make to this discussion, how numbers and statistics, how they play, what role they play in linguistics or in the study of language. I use example of, you have the example there when you say, if you say,
Something happened. Is everything okay?
I think his network locked him off.
Right. Okay, so we'll just wait for him.
I'm back. What
Okay,
happened?
sir. We don't know. We were also wondering what happened.
I think it's the internet.
Okay, sir.
So, but I'm back now. Sorry for that. So, the discussion is to establish the connection between numbers and statistics on one hand, and of course, linguistics or the study of language on the other hand. And I want the class to bring out aspects or cases where these two, where they connect. Is anybody able to make
Sir,
input now? Yes.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. With the example I gave earlier,
Yeah.
I was just thinking about it. Okay, what if in a case where because I talked about context and acquiring lexicon and using it. So how many or how often does this person make use of this word, the numbers and the time? How often does he use it in this context? And how often does another person use it? Then we know, okay, who uses it more than that person based on numbers and analyzing that number, analyze the number of times the person used it.
Good. So you can look at a particular word, and then you can say this particular speaker uses this word more often than this other speaker. So it's easy. You won't be able to do that if you are not applying numbers and statistics. Is that clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Great.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This is the rule. The statistics, the numbers and statistics is simply helping us to be able to measure, to be able to compare, to be able to also understand patterns in language. In fact, those are the three major essence of you studying numbers and statistics, which is what we even call the quantitative. So numbers plus the statistics make up the quantitative that we are talking. So if that is clear, then the next question, why is it important for us to say we are comparing, to say we are using numbers in the study of language? Why? We are researchers, and usually you make claims. And when you make claims, is there any popular claim in linguistics? For instance, you can say, Wole Soyinka, I don't know if you also study the writers. What do you normally say about writers? Vivian.
Good evening, sir.
Good
I don't
evening.
know if
How
you
are
can
you?
hear me.
Yeah.
I'm very fine, sir. You?
What do we normally compare writers, authors?
Yes, we do, depending on what kind of literature that they write.
So how do we usually compare them in linguistics?
Off my head, I can't really think of anything right now.
Oh wow, who can think? Heritage is still not able to think.
In linguistics, or well, across languages, maybe we would measure them. Yeah, she was right. According to genre, according to, maybe even title, according to how they also write language. Yeah, language that they also use. For instance, you would not compare Professor Wole Soyinka with the way, a Chinua Achebe would write. They are both professors, they're both literary, giants. They were both born in 1960s, thereabouts, or 19. No, they were born in the 1930s. Yeah, 1930s. And so, and then maybe you measure their upbringing, background. Most of them attended the first federal government colleges, across east, west, north, like that. So, yeah.
Yeah. So the point is this: when we are comparing, we make claims. Yes, we make claims. Is anybody raising up hand? Okay, somebody join. We make claims. We can say this writer, uses long sentences. This one uses short sentences. You can compare them in terms of some also, the way they title their works. They use few word counts. Some use more word counts and so on like that. So we compare authors, but that comparison will not be exact if you are not applying numbers and statistics. So one reason why quantitative analysis is important is for us to be able to provide evidence to support our claims. Very convincing evidence. So if you have numbers make make comparison to be exact, to be precise, not just by saying this is better than this, this is uh, longer than this is taller than this is shorter, and so on like that. No, but when you put values, then the claim becomes more evident. I mean, it's clearer, and you are able to be precise in your report or your findings. So that's one reason. So we study quantitative to be able to provide evidence for whatever claims we make in linguistics. That claim could be an assumption which you will now use data to establish. And as I've said earlier, quantitative also helps us make comparison. So you can compare groups. You can say men. You can say women. You can compare groups, Ijesha, Ijebu. You can compare Yoruba. You can with Igbo. No. So quantitative techniques help to compare groups. We can also compare languages. We can compare situations, right? These are reasons why the study of, the application of quantitative analysis in linguistics becomes very important. You can also use quantitative technique as a researcher to now test whatever idea or whatever hypothesis that you conceptualize, whatever opinion you hold. Quantitative techniques helps you now to scientifically, either to establish that claim or to disprove that claim. Either to support it or to reject it. And we will be doing a lot of this in this course. How you can compare, how you can test ideas, And then finally, we used quantitative techniques in the study of language so that we can be able to replicate our studies. Mercy.
Yes, sir.
What do we mean when I use the word replicate? What do we mean when I use the word replicate? Or you can even give me instances, studies um, that are replicated or that can be replicated. There's a noise coming at the.
Okay, sir. So,
Are you
um,
are you using two devices, Mercy, or somebody
no,
is
I'm using just one, sir.
okay? I can hear some noise at the background. Oh, go on.
Okay, so to replicate a study would mean that, um, like when you carry out a research and you come up with a conclusion, you make the what do you mean? You make the process like open so that other people who are interested can also carry out the research and come up with their own conclusion too,
Good.
to see like if you can get similar results, and also to improve the quality of the research basically. So you can to replicate studies is to show the process basically, so that okay, if another maybe set of researchers come and they are not convinced of the results that we came up with, they can decide to do run theirs again and see if they would achieve similar results.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Kehinde, are you there? Oluyemisi. Kehinde. Kehinde is not there. Okay.
I'm here, sir.
Okay. Are you following the discussion?
Yes, sir.
Did you do any project in your first degree?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember what the project is about?
I think it's language of line.
Huh?
Language that they speak in language of Nigeria Airlines. I think the language spoken in when we bought the
Okay,
plane.
okay. How many airlines did you study?
Like not we did not get to have anyone. What we did then is just that we went to airport, like Ibadan Airport and Lagos Airport, to administer a questionnaire asking people if they really understand what the instructions given in airplanes. That's
Okay.
what we did.
So, what was your major finding? What was
What
the key
we
finding?
found out is that the majority of people that are Nigerians, they don't really understand like the way the people speak, the accent, let me say. So it's not well understood because the way we speak here is totally different from how they give instructions in a airplane. The accent, let me say, the way we speak there is different
So,
from the normal one that is what is don't usually get it. But maybe they follow the guest of to, to know what they are trying to.
that's fine. So, obviously, you people you didn't apply much of numbers and statistics in your analysis. But we'll come to
Yes, sir.
that. The point we want to make here is that that study that you conducted, uh, somebody may also
Yes,
want
sir.
to somebody may also want to use the same airports that you use the same maybe airline if possible, and do exactly the way you have done, you know, uh, to be able to see whether they will get the same result as you claim you got. That
Okay.
is replicating your study. Somebody could also go to a different airport, a different environment, and follow the same process that you claim you follow. So to replicate a study is to repeat this, follow the same procedure, you know, uh, previous that the previous researcher followed, and uh, check whether the result will be the same or not. Uh, so it's a way to know whether you can mute yourself now, kind of. That is done mostly to be able to check the validity of that result, whether that result is valid or not. So, replicating a study is a scientific way of establishing whether that finding or that conclusion, is valid or not valid. So uh, that can only be done with numbers and statistics. So numbers, statistics, or in general quantitative techniques help us to validate our results, help us to reproduce, not just even to replicate our findings, our results. So uh, these are four main reasons why quantitative analysis is very important in language research studies. Is there any question on this? Anything you want me to clarify further? Akindejoye, I've not heard from you.
Oh, you've heard from Mr. Amola Soji.
Okay, that's okay.
Yes, sir.
Adegboyega, have I heard from you? Adegboyega Kolade. Now let's look at two approaches. We've been talking about quantitative, but we could also have qualitative. So how do we distinguish between quantitative and qualitative? I'm very sure that most of you have been using the qualitative approach before now, which is simply uh, to answer questions like why, how, what does it mean? So generally qualitative research questions involved answering questions like why, how, what does it mean? But quantitative, we answer questions like how many, which is compelling you to use number. How many? How many students join the class? Is different from why do we have few people joining the class. So questions like how is answered by using numbers and statistics. How many? How often? Question like, is there a difference? Is A different from B? Are men different from women? When are Igbos different from Yorubas? And so on like that. So questions involving how many, how often, do we have a difference? Is there any difference between groups? So in other words, questions around comparing groups, around patterns, is the is it growing? No. Is the economy growing? And things like that. So when it comes to this type of questions, you can only answer them using the quantitative methods. So, and you have examples there, example of for quantitative. So, measuring vowel length in milliseconds will lead to numbers. You have to be precise. But for qualitative example, if you are describing how a child develops grammar over time, you will be describing the stages and so on like that, but they are not so precise. You can tell stories, you can know, but you may not even put any number there. So quantitative techniques focus on numbers. Don't ever forget that. They focus on statistics. Statistics is what you now use to analyze the numbers. So statistics gives you the methods, the techniques, the tools to now analyze the numbers. That's why we talk about numbers and statistics. So the most important thing is that can you use the tool? Can you use the tool? Or do we abandon one and then embrace the other? Heritage, what do you have to say?
We can use the two, sir. I think it depends on the person or where, maybe the research. It depends on the texture of the research, maybe where it's headed. For instance, most of us in linguistics, we've always used the qualitative approach. Even when I did my first degree and second degree, they were all with the qualitative approach. I never had to go to the I never had to do a questionnaire. I never had to sample people's opinions, you know, but I worked with data. So I believe that the research would determine what areas or what types of measures to use.
Thank you. I thought Kehinde was raising. Are you raising your hand? You pull it down. Kehinde?
No, sir.
Huh?
No, sir. Yep. You
Okay.
actually stated something.
So the point is this: for qualitative, for quantitative, when you want to explore and you want to understand meaning and context, you want to understand meaning and context, then use qualitative. When you want to test, to see patterns, to compare, to see patterns, then use the quantitative. But in most studies also, you can use both, in which case you are exploring, you are also, you have a context that you are trying to understand, and then at the same time you want to test. So both approaches could be employed. Only that in our discussion, I'm not in a position to teach you qualitative approach in linguistics. So our focus, my own focus, is how do you use numbers and statistics to solve linguistic problem or to study language. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So that's our goal in this course.
That's fine.
How we can how do we use numbers and statistics in language, in the study of languages? Then the question is, can we use quantitative approach anywhere or in all aspects of linguistics? Well, I don't know all aspects of linguistics. I'm a novice when it comes to that. But from the literature and from what we know, we could easily identify three major areas of linguistics that the quantitative approach could be used. Are there other areas apart from phonetics, psycholinguistics, and sociolinguistics, psycholinguistics? Are there other areas?
Yes, sir. The other areas of linguistics.
What are they?
You have semantics,
Semantic?
pragmatics. Yes, sir.
Huh?
Pragmatics. Yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
We have pragmatics. We have applied linguistics too, like the biolinguist and neurolinguists and all.
Okay. So, but when we talk about phonetics, what do we mean?
It is phonetics is the scientific study of speech sounds.
Okay.
Yes, sir, the scientific study of speech sounds, universal speech sounds, like as the way speech has to is generalized universally in all languages of the world.
So, can you give me instances now? Olasoji.
Of phonetics, sir.
Yes, of phonetics.
Examples, sir. Sir?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, sir. In English language, for example, we
Yeah.
have vowel sounds and consonant sounds, and we have, for example, pa sound. Pa, it's voiceless bilabial plosive, so that's the speech sound in English language. Then we have in Yoruba language too. For example, in Yoruba language, we have C, the sa, the one written as S. That's
Uh,
also a speech sound in Yoruba language.
so, excellent. Now we can apply quantitative analysis in this area of linguistics. And I have examples here. You could apply it to vowel duration, which is about trying to learn how long a vowel is held. You know the vowels. Am I correct? Is that? Huh?
Yes, sir.
They
We
are,
know the
yes, sir, yes,
vowels.
sir, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
So depending on different, even in Yoruba, even in Yoruba area, some will say si, some will say she, sisi, no, sisi, sisi. No, some will call us and use those, use different. So some will drag it, some will, as make it fast, pronounce it fast, So we can also use it to study pitch. That's how high, how low the voice sounds. Then it could also be format. That's the acoustic properties of vowel. So you have example there. We can take data from 20 males, 20 female speakers, and ask them to, say the vowel. What's this vowel?
Ah,
Ah.
yes. Ah,
We are, so we are not going to pronounce it this. We are not likely going to pronounce it the same way or use the same duration. Am I correct?
yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Good. So we can compare female in the class, the vowel duration of the female in the class with the vowel duration of the male in the class. We could also compare their average speech. So how do we do that comparison? We will now use statistical technique. So as you will see later in this course, there is what we call the t-test, which will help us to establish whether there is a statistical difference between the groups. So that's one way we can apply quantitative techniques in phonetics. Any question on that? Is that one very clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let's look at who is going to explain sociolinguistics. Sociolinguistics, that area of linguistics. What's it about?
Sociolinguistics is basically language with an relation to the society. So
Okay.
how people use language in the society in different domains, maybe the media, in the family, then the different usage and all. That's basically social linguistics for me, sir.
Kende is in a hurry to make input. I think Kende, you have the floor now. Kende, yes.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. I'm Murala, sir. I have lessons with
Murala,
you, sir.
okay.
Right.
Eh?
Yes, sir. So, yes, sir.
Okay, go on.
Social linguistics is the study of the relationship between language and society.
Okay.
And don't want to apply quantitative to social linguistics to talk about study research. When we use quantitative study research to do our research, then we are talking about the social linguistics and its relationship with language and society.
Now, before I leave, even though your voice is not very clear, I managed to hear what you said, but yeah,
Can you hear me clearly now?
maybe it's better now. Go on.
I said social linguistics is the study of relationship between language and society,
Okay.
the way they behave. And to apply quantitative methods to social linguistics, we're talking about solving research. That's why
That's good. That's good. Let me ask, you can mute yourself now. You can mute yourself and pull down the hand. You know. Vivian, did you write something on the chat menu?
Yes, sir, I did.
What did you? I saw demography. What are you trying to say?
That's social linguistics. So it's simply study of language within regions. So I did that something like that in my what's it called, project work, right? So I studied they call it Igbo language between Southern Igbo, Northern Igbo, Eastern Igbo, and I compared them, to see their relationship. So that's basically social linguistics, comparative social linguistics.
Now that's the very nice one. Don't mute yourself yet. Don't mute yourself.
All right, sir.
Were there specific words or sounds that you were, focusing on in your study?
Yes, I used the linguistics 120 word count.
So what particular word or you ask?
They had to do with so we have word counts in linguistics that we use for research. So this one I used the 120. I think there's a 120, there's a two something. This 120 contains the body parts, some food, some nature, some words in body parts. Okay, all the body parts, some words in nature, and some words in food. So it made up 120 words.
So you have the data, right? Were you able to do comparison across
Yes,
the
I did.
huh?
Yes, sir. Across six different regions. Yes, sir. Two from each part, southern, western Igbo, and northern Igbo, something like that. Yes, sir.
So did you use statistics to analyze your data?
I did.
So you who taught you? How did you know? Or somebody did it for you?
No, I've had instruments for a long time in historical comparative linguistics. So
Okay,
there's
so
a particular formula in linguistics, comparative linguistics,
okay.
phonetics comparative linguistics. There's a particular formula that we will use to calculate differences in sounds like that. Just when you get your data, you apply the formula and you move on from there.
So not that you use any uh, something like t-test and over. You didn't use all of that.
No, no, no. We did just percentages. We
Okay.
used percentages, yeah.
So we will do more than that in this course. So we will now be able to compare across age groups, compare between genders, and then regions. And then, of course, from what you know, from your explanation, you have applied a bit of quantitative techniques. So uh, maybe you will still revisit that data and be able to do more. I would love to see the data and see whether we can still explore it. But the point being made here is that quantitative techniques can now be applied in sociolinguistic in area field. So I'm happy with the background provided. I have example here. You have a researcher who is interested in observing uh, the uh, so he is interested in observing whether uh, young speakers use more English loan words in Yoruba. I'm sure you know that there are even many of you, whether you are Yoruba or Igbo, you can't say you can't speak your language without interjecting it with foreign language. Am I correct?
That's true, sir.
Heritage. What do you mean by code switching, code mixing?
Oh, so that's the linguistic term for that. I also do that. You'd code mix while you're having a
Yes.
sentence, and then you can now code switch completely. It's just like when I say, Ekason, sir, I thought to checking in with you. Have a great day, sir. Ekwadun, sir. That's a code mix, right? So if I
Yeah.
also run for like a 2 hour presentation and then I code mix after, and then I code switch after, and then duration too will come to play in the difference between code mixing and code switching.
So we could be interested, for instance, in seeing how gender comes in, whether female, students, for instance, you know, more into code switching, than the male, or whether older uh, people are less, code switchers, compared with younger people. Uh, so we could do that quantitatively, and then yes, it's even here. Quantitative analysis helps count the usage and test if age really influences code switching. Have you ever done something around that, Heritage?
No, sir.
So that's a potential research
Mhm.
issue. Uh, Even one could go to primary, to nursery, to some secondary school. You see prevalent of code switching, even among uh, uh, no, government officials and so on.
Mhm.
It's even maybe you could look at the prevalence among the Yorubas and the Hausas, the Igbos. Most people we believe, for instance, that it's even worse in Yoruba, Hausas, but no empirical evidence, and that's why we might need to. It's a claim, it's an assumption. Um, Igbos could speak for long, make long sentences without uh, code switching. I think Hausas too can do that. They had, except they could switch with Islamic, with Arab,
Arabic?
yeah, with Arabic.
Yeah, there's a possibility.
uh, so, so this is a typical application of quantitative, techniques in social linguistics. Finally, who has done anything around psycholinguistics? Anyone? Or who can define psycholinguistics? Nobody?
All right, sir.
Okay.
I've not done. I was only introduced to psycholinguistics in my final year undergraduate, but it is I would say it is an interdisciplinary field where we have psychology and linguistics because it has to do with the relationship between human language and the human mind. How
Okay.
do we acquire language? Is it because now Chomsky says there is this language acquisition device naturally that we have naturally to acquire the language of our environment. So how do we acquire this language and second language learning and all of that? That's what psycholinguistics is all about.
So that's interesting. It's not only for toddlers, or I hope so. If, for instance, you find yourself in a new, yes, Mercy.
Okay, sir. So I also wanted to add that there is a part of psycholinguistics where they begin to talk about neurolinguistics too. When people have brain issues, does it affect their linguistic skills and all of that?
So yeah, yeah. Okay, good. Thank you for muting yourself. I can hear the background noise. So this is an area that explores how, language is processed, how language is understood in the mind. So one could be interested in reaction time, that is how fast someone responds to a word. Just a minute. Sorry. So reaction time, which could be to see how fast someone responds to a word. Uh, I've lived in many places and I always struggle to learn the language. I always struggle when I lived in Kaduna, Chokoto, even outside. Uh, I tried to learn Amharic language in Ethiopia. I don't know if I can still pick any word now. So, uh, trying to process those things in my mind or in my it's usually very difficult. So some people are so talented that they could, retain, even multiple languages, uh, very at, at the same time. So psycholinguistics data could also be about looking at accuracy rate, how often one is able to get the word correctly or properly. So, example, participant may be shown real and made up words uh, in Amharic, for instance. There is what called tenadestilin, that's a form of greeting, you know. Uh, but sometimes what I say will be completely different from the meaning, the actual meaning. So, how often do I get it right? Or other foreigners, from other parts of the world, Indians, Chinese, the interest could be uh, of even this in Nigeria too. You could use quantitative techniques to understand how other foreigners mastered the the local languages in Nigeria. So this is the rundown of chapter 1, and is simply to let you understand what quantitative technique is all about, the importance of quantitative techniques in the study of language, and the different application areas of quantitative techniques which we have looked at. So we are now able to use quantitative techniques to become more objective rather than subjective in our analysis. We are now more clear. We bring clarity into our analysis rather than subjectivity or assumptions. We are also now being more precise, being exact, rather than just being just being descriptive or narrative. So we are able to move from impressions to evidence, from opinion to reality, to concrete, to facts. And that's what quantitative technique, helps to achieve. So whether you are analyzing sound patterns, language use in society, how people understand language, whatever aspect, psycho, phonetics, social linguistics, quantitative techniques is a powerful tool, to be able to explore the structure and function of human language. So that will take us to the next chapter. So that's the end of this chapter. There are exercises there. I don't know if Honey, you don't have the material yet.
No, sir, I don't.
Okay, maybe when you come. So you won't be able to take them through the exercise. But the the exercises are there. Most of them, most of you, you will need to work on these exercises, please. But before we close for today, yeah, no. Uh, I think we can close now. You may not be able to answer some of these questions. So, ladies and gentlemen, are there questions, comments? Uh, Let me stop sharing. Any question, any comment? Abdurrashid, you've been on and off. I guess your connection is not too good.
It's my network, sir.
Yeah, I suspect that. So, any question? I stop presenting now. If you are okay, just type okay in the chat menu. If you are okay, or if you have any other comment, type okay in the chat menu. I can see okay from Mercy, Vivian, Heritage, Abdulrashid. So thank you very much. Next class, maybe next week, Honey will always continue, and others will always continue, and they will go through the exercises and the multiple questions with you. So,
Okay.
so for today, that will not be possible. So thank you very much. See you on Thursday, 4 to 6 for the machine learning. The material for machine learning is not yet ready, but we will continue with the lecture, hopefully to be ready by next week. But the material for the quantitative methods in linguistics is ready, and feel free to pick your own if you think you need it. If there is no other question, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
Good night, sir. Thank you, sir.